Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to give you a brief introduction to a little religious philosophy that mixes in with sexuality. People ask me how I can live a life like this and claim to be a Christian. Let's explore some historical aspects. Today we're going to look at purification through pain, but first we need to have a little discussion. And some of this people might trigger people because there are people who handle mental suffering through hurting themselves in unhealthy ways. And there are good ways and bad ways to do things, and this is follows the teachings of Jesus Christ that we shouldn't be come to a point where we're harming ourselves, either physically, spiritually, mentally. So there are boundaries to everything in life. One of the things that Jesus says is that I shall not become a slave to anything. I shall not be put under the power of none. And what that means is not letting ourselves slip into addictive natures. And that includes an addictive nature of trying to handle emotional strife through physical pain to a very negative level. And so, and the reason that we have people who harm themselves in such ways is that the body is a mechanism that has levers and buttons that we can utilize to facilitate a different state of mind. For instance, people who do meditative breathing can enter a bit of a meditative trance, kind of slip away from being fully aware of what's going on in the external stimuli, focus more on the internal. And so the brain facilitates these things mainly for our survival. A lot of times when we experience pain, it's accompanied by danger, and so the brain helps us focus and get a different mindset so we can deal with that stimuli. If you're feeling bad about yourself and you're trying to hurt yourself to escape negative feelings, you need to reach out to people, even one of your online friends that you don't know. There are plenty of people out there with an apathetic heart that will listen to you. Plenty of people who's gone through some similar experiences that you can rely on and lean on. Unfortunately, the internet seems to have put us in very small bubbles, and it's important that we work to remove those small bubbles and engage in society around us. And it can be overwhelming. From what used to be in my childhood, I dealt with the neighborhood drama. Now, as I've grown, I have to deal with the worldwide drama, So, but for other people, there are people who enjoy the chemical and physiological changes presented when these chemicals and hormones are released as a pain response to the stimuli. A lot of people will call that subdrop. Other religious practices use it once again to enter a meditative state where perception is altered once again, where you lose focus on the wider outside things and your field of focus comes much tighter in to your body and your immediate environment. maybe, for instance, sounds can become clearer. Your body becomes more able to anticipate, and you can focus on different parts. When we're in danger, pain is often accompanied by fear and stuff. So for people who utilize and practice masochism, most often there's not that fear. It might be replaced by excitement found in power exchange and handing over trust to someone, and that variable, simply things being out of your control can be exciting, but even there, you need to set safe, sane boundaries, because the purpose is to have fun, to explore your body, to explore sensations and experiences with people, and not to bring harm to yourself. If you're bringing harm to yourself again, that's something you need to meditate on, and while you're doing that, and a way to find healthier outlets. And unfortunately for people who have habits, sometimes it's hard to give them up completely, but sometimes maybe you can alter them a little bit through time to where they become more healthy. Having autism, I have frustration, with certain things, rule sets that don't make sense. But in my youth, it caused me a lot of outbursts and problems. But in my older age, I've been able to move that, and I've not gotten rid of it, but I've been able to move that to use it for political activism. I've found a good use for something that may be a negative in most aspects. So I won't always have this long talk when I'm doing this stuff, but it's important that people understand that all practices, be they religious or sensual, need to be safe and sane and consensual. First and foremost, we are always to love ourselves, to respect ourselves, and that includes allowing people around us. In the same way, if you derive pleasure from inflicting pain, there's sadists that enjoy, being in control, and in the same way, there's good outlets and good sources, and there's negative sources, and so you need to be with a partner that is playful and not abusive. Yeah, because there's definitely a difference. I won't even say there's a fine line in the BDSM lifestyle and physical abuse. There's not a fine line. In the BDSM lifestyle, the submissive should be setting the rules for what's consensual, what's allowed. It should be clear, two-way, direct communication, for people. And you should always be prepared for whatever outcomes, So once again, that's part of being safe, sane, and consensual is, if you're going to play with hot wax, make sure you got some aloe vera around, Take it slow, take it easy, and don't rush into anything. Especially, I'll be speaking about some implementations, some utensils here in a moment. It's always best to warm up, especially with a new partner and stuff, because you need to find out their your ability versus their tolerance. What you might think is a light tap might not be a light tap to someone else, so you need to spend some time and calibrate, and the body becomes more resistant if you warm up. Yeah, It's the same way with jumping into cold water. Um, your body's more apt to build up to a better tolerance going in slowly than to just jump in and shock your whole entire body. But we need to keep this somewhat educational also. Judaism. There's old traditions of Judaism, purification through pain, and lessons on that pain in life and suffering in life is inevitable, and that we're all going to have to suffer and learn how to deal with those things in a positive outlook. One of the best examples of this is the book of Job. He goes through all types of different kinds of pain. So a lot of religions also see that you can purify your soul through experiencing pain. And once again, you'll see me preaching a lot. Organized religion is a very dangerous thing. There's a world of difference between choosing to purify yourself through whatever means, be it sage, baptism, through pain. It's completely a different thing to choose to try to enforce those beliefs on other people. No matter how much you beat someone, you can't make them love. And the whole purpose of religion is to find love. So there's been a lot of horrible things throughout the past. But purification through pain is also found in Hinduism and Christianity. It's in certain rites. There's tribes I've seen about proving manhood. They'll build a tower, and they'll tie vines to their leg. It's like bungee jumping, except for they hit the ground. I'm not sure what the purpose of the vine is. They hit the ground. And then there's other tribes that they build mittens and get these ants to bite them, and through that pain ritual, they earn their place in their society as a man, as one ready to become a warrior, or have a higher position within the society. So I think I've spoken about all of the hoo-ha and blue blah. So you'll see all kinds of things over here on the side. If anybody's interested in this, there's plenty of home utensils that you can utilize. You don't have to go out and buy anything special. You get paint sticks from Lowe's, small ones, big ones. You can use a belt, and there's also purchase things, floggers, riding crops. Hairbrushes are good. And you'll notice like some of these things over here, there'll be paddles, and then there'll be some with holes. Those holes allow some more air to go through, and will give a heavier thud and less of a sting, while ones that are flat and shiny surfaces, that's going to cause a lot of sting. And of course, depending on the size and stuff, thuds. You see up there, the hand. Everyone's got a hand, but you got to be careful with your hand, because you can injure your own hand. You got a lot of blood vessels and stuff coming through here. Yeah. So your hand's sensitive, and so you need to be practicing care and safety at all times. Like I said, you can get little paint sticks. Yeah. And I have another image that I want to pull up right fast before I get started. That's pretty important too. I'm sorry, I'm never fully prepared for these things. Merci beaucoup, persuadez-moi. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I hope y'all are curious and want to learn things and stuff. There's right places and wrong places to strike people. And of course you can play around with your own body and find, what suits you best. But you'll see some green, some yellow, some red areas, and of course that should be pretty easy. Green areas are good. Yellow, you need to start, worrying. Don't be so rough on that. And red areas can be no-go areas. And once again, like you'll see, like behind the knees, same thing with your hands. There's a lot of veins and soft skin right there. Yeah. So you don't want to hit the blood vessels and stuff right there. Yeah. You'll see that the wrists, the elbows are the same way. The funny bone, you got nerve clusters right there. So not only is some of these about thin skin and blood vessels underneath, but some of them are nerve centers, especially like the lower back. You've got a lot of nerves extending from there. And once again, it's a thin skin area too. Not a lot of cushion there to absorb any blows. And you'll see that runs all the way up the spine. Of course, neck and throat is never okay. Yeah, never. Yeah. Chest, if you're hitting the chest, you don't want anything that's got a lot of swing to it, like a flogger, because like I said, you don't want to hit anybody in the face, especially a flogger, with eyes and stuff. So once again, be safe. Think about what you're doing. Yeah. Don't do these things intoxicated. Yeah. You need to be clear-minded. Because accidents happen, and the purpose is to play and to have fun, to explore, and not to come away damaged or anything like that. So these little guys right here, they're very light and flimsy. They leave a lot of sting, but not a lot of mark. Might be able to see there's some red striations there. So I'll bring a little blood to the surface and a sting. Yeah. But it's very light thud. It's more of a sting than anything. Yeah. And it is always a paddle brush. These things are kind of stingy too. You can see it's a heavier thud and a much higher sting because, once again, like I said, it's a flat, shiny surface. And if it had holes in it, or even some kind of relief, it would allow some of that air to escape and not be so stingy on the skin. I know I'm going through these fast because there's one I enjoy particularly more than the others. And the good old leather strap, of course. Let's see, this one's nice and old. It's got a lot of flop to it. The newer one, not so great. And the reason why is that you'll see there's a lot of flimsiness to this, especially around the edges. You can see that maybe after some wear, the edges have been rounded off just a little bit. And this guy's still very nice and crisp. And if you see, when you bend it, it makes a curve like that. So that's going to make those outer edges stick out. Yeah. So, yeah. So I like older belts better. But they're, pretty medium thud and medium sting. Yeah. And my pain levels and tolerances might be different than what's on that screen. So. But, you can see the older one, more of a thud and more of a deeper sting. And it's got two different sides, a rough side and then the shiny side, which is more of a sting, of course. Nice sounding thing. People like these. If you're playing with someone and they can't see, it's always fun to make the snapping sounds. Because like I said, when you get someone in a particular state of mind, a trance, a sub-drop or whatever, different senses become heightened, especially if you trust someone enough to be blindfolded. Senses increase even more. And this is a flogger. This wouldn't be considered a cat of nine tails, because cat of nine tails has 9 tails. But this is more of a thud than anything. Let's see. You can hit pretty hard with this. Sometimes the ends of the tassels will hit and leave a little more of a sting, but mainly it's almost a showpiece, really, more than anything. I mean, you can, you know, and you can see it barely even leaves anything red. You can see those. Fun to look at. And my favorite for myself, I enjoy belt, but you know, if you're playing just with yourself, then riding clots are always fun, because you can get around. And like I said, I know I'm hitting places that aren't maybe on there because I know me. So like I said, play around and explore. But riding clots, a little bit of my favorite. Maybe next time I'll play more than talk. Maybe I'll find some more things to show off. I'd like to talk more about the psychological and maybe the physiological aspects, and maybe even the hormone receptors and the chemicals that leave your body, like the adrenaline, dopamines and stuff. Oops, I meant to be plugged. I don't know, anyways. But I'm pegging my microphone every time I do that. But I think I'm going to go play for a little bit. I'm going to make me some milk and go to bed. Put myself to bed, put a nightie on. And I've got some pictures and some videos coming to my OnlyFans. And I take requests. And you see some of the stuff I have. And I don't have much shame or even a lot of hard nose. So, if y'all are curious about the lifestyle or curious about anything at all, or just have any general comments, questions, mockeries, never feel ashamed or anything to reach out. That's the unfortunate part of being stuck with playing with yourself. Some angles and things are not easy to get. It's nice not to have to work. Nice just to enjoy sometimes. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all learned something. And I love you all. Smooches. Toodles. Love you. Next time I'll have to thank my little buddy. Love you all.